What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. We have had a very busy week this week in the MX Bikes community. We had Beta 20 release on the 22nd of May, and now night time of the 27th of May, which is Tuesday night for me, we have had MX Bikes Beta 20B released. Now I realised Beta 20B is released without the patch notes of Beta 20 even being posted on Steam just yet, and a lot of people are still confused as to what exactly that all entailed. So I'm here to give you both of those updates today, because the original Beta 20 video that I made really only covered about half of the things that were updated. There was so much more that I had no idea about. So thank you to L21 who has put these two changelogs together, and you can find these in the news section of the MXB Discord community, the general one. So MX Bikes Beta 20 I think was met very 50-50. Some people quite vibed with it, some people very much disliked it. I was like 75 hate, 25% like. Now I'll go through some of the things here and why it felt a bit off. So first of all, updated the riding animations. Some of it looks really good for screenshots. Some of it I think still looks a little bit goofy in places, like the rider's very like squatted and hunched over the bike in some of the corners. They updated the MSM tyre traction, so no MSM tractions were changed, but I'll explain why it feels like it has in a little bit. But that is just Piboso stock bike only, so if you don't download anything, just the standard bikes come with the game. Whether they got more traction or less, I actually don't know the extent of those because I haven't tested them yet. Maybe in an upcoming stream in the future we'll mess around on them bikes a little bit more. They have improved the kickstart animation, which again only applies to the 250X, which is a Piboso bike as well. None of the OEM bikes have any kickstart animations there. He's fixed the protection paints saving. Now I don't know if that's... Do you remember there's a bug that some people get now and then where every time they take body armor off, for example, in game and then load the game again, it goes back on? Not an issue I've had, and I don't know if that's addressing that, but take that for what you wish. Now this is the one that I wish we had more info on. It just says small rider physic tweaks. What tweaks, you ask? Nobody knows. There's just been tweaks, and that's what I think a lot of the wonkiness was on Beta 20, which I really didn't vibe with at all and still don't vibe with and struggle sometimes. To me, I feel no confidence in the front end of my bike at all anymore. The bike does feel good going through braking bumps into a corner, but if there's bumps during a corner, I feel like I'm going to crash all the time. It feels like all the weight is right at the top above my rider's head, so if I want to lean from left to right quickly, it kind of flops side to side and feels really unstable there. But it feels a little bit better now with Beta 20B, which I'll go into more detail with in a second. They have fixed rider ghost twitchiness. Now I don't use a ghost at all in testing, I find it quite distracting, but I know some people like chasing after their ghosts to try and improve their laps, so there's a little improvement there. There was the no stop track, which was the MXB test track, which I've not seen anybody hate on. Everybody seems to love that so far. And then this was the kicker that has made me hate my life for the last couple of days. There was a sit-stand delay added. I don't think this was on purpose. I think this was a mistake, as they were changing the riding animations to make stuff look nice and fluent. However, to me, motocross is a very reactive sport. Of course, you can plan what rut you want to go in, where you want to hit braking bumps ahead of time, but until you get into those ruts or braking bumps, you don't know what the bike's going to do underneath you. Same with if you take off a jump and the back end kicks out slightly, you want to be able to muscle that bike back into position as quickly as possible. Now, if that back end kicks out and I press the sit down button and it takes 0.2, 0.3 of a second for it to happen, that's 0.2 or 0.3 that the bike is still going the wrong way, getting worse and worse. Whereas I would like to correct that instantly, which it looks like for Beta 20B that has now been improved / resorted, but we'll get into that in a second as well. There has been a riding styles added, so if you have a UI mod in your game, this won't show up. If you take out any UI mods and you go to the bike selection screen, there will be a riding style drop down. At the moment there is only motocross, however this now opens the door up for the community to add new riding styles themselves. What that entails is it's purely aesthetic, it's just visual and animations. So if you want your rider to look like Jet Lawrence as he's riding around, then you can do so. And if in the future someone makes more of an Eli Tomac-y kind of riding style and animations, then you can do that as well. But it would not affect the actual handling or physics of the game. That is purely visual only, and it is a feature that GP bikes already has. There's like old school and modern riding styles on there on the road bikes, and it just adds a little bit more customization to the game. They added some chat logs for dedicated servers, so some server owners can find that useful. And then just a couple of extra messages to re-specify why you've been banned from servers. So banned by admin, banned by a poll on the server, banned from high ping, stuff of that nature. So that was beta 20, and still that isn't on the Steam page yet. It might be at times me uploading this. I think I saw Boso saying that he was going to add the changelog in the morning. And then we've got beta 20b, which has released as of around about 9 PM UK time for me on the 27th, which is Tuesday. So in here, the changes are the rider sitting and standing now have individual speeds from each other. Sitting is now the same speed as it was in beta 19, and in the gameplay that you should be watching in the background, I can test that. As soon as I click that stick down, the rider sits down straight away. And the standing is quicker than beta 20 was, but not as quick as beta 19 was. So whilst you can sit down straight away, the time it takes from your rider to go from sitting to standing up again takes a little bit longer than beta 19 did, but it is still quicker than beta 20, which I still think is an improvement. The auto sit speed has been decreased. What this means is, even if in your simulation settings you have automatic rider sit off, if you go at a slow enough speed, your rider will still sit down by himself. There's just nothing you can do about it. It will do it regardless. So that speed has now been reduced. So maybe in the past, it made you have to sit down at about 10 miles an hour. Now you can go about 6, and it forces you to sit down. The only thing you can't do with this, unfortunately, is say you like enduro, and maybe you'll come up to a log. You can't go to like a crawl speed, maybe 2 miles an hour, stood up on the pegs, and then try and pop a wheelie. You're just going to sit down regardless anyway. So I'd like that to be to 0. Like if I want to stand up and try and balance on the pegs, I should be allowed to do so, basically. But there's that. That's nothing to do with the automatic rider sit. That is just purely the game does that for you. They fix an issue with dedicated servers and anti-cheat. The in-depthness of that anti-cheat I actually don't know, but the more protection we can have from anybody cheating, the better, basically. I'm of the opinion, because we've got this massive grey area of going behind the scenes and changing files, whether it was like turning roost off or tear-offs off in the past, turning shadows off, things like that nature, have the whole Lean Help Zero debate that we had over a year ago. I'm of the opinion, if there is stuff that can be edited in the profile behind the scenes, that they don't mind being edited, put it in the actual game menu for us to change. And if there's stuff that can be edited behind the scenes that they don't want edited at all, then just lock it better. So it can't be changed at all. That's my opinion of it. They fix an issue with copying and sharing setups. So even on beta 19, there was an issue where if you tried to share a common setup with someone on a server, your game would crash straight away. And there was also a bug with beta 20 where if you had a setup saved but it wasn't common, you couldn't copy it from one track to another. It just wouldn't appear. So that appears to be fixed now. They fixed the standalone version installer, which I think is outside of Steam, so I don't know too much in regards to that. And then they've also fixed an issue with tricks that weren't working or happening randomly. Now, ever since I downloaded beta 20, if I every now and then, without pressing the trick button on my controller, my rider would do a no-footer in the air, or he'd do a kiss of death in the air randomly. That seems to be fixed now, so no more random tricks. I have no idea how that became a thing. And then one last thing that they've added, which is new, which people should find exciting, is a new leg swag trick. So Mr. Justin Bogle, he plays MX bikes, he might like this one quite a lot. So if you go into your settings in game, go to the Input 2 tab, and then on the left-hand side somewhere there is a dab setting. If you press any button on your controller, if you've got a button spare, then if you go to track and you do a whip, which if you press that dab button while whipping, your inside leg will fall down. So if you're whipping whatever way that is for you, your leg on the inside will hang down. So a little bit of Bogle leg swag. So cool for some screenshots. Free ride people might like that as well, and just a nice little extra update for you. And that will cover it. So I dare say this could not come at a better time. I'm so happy that they have reverted the settings that we don't like ahead of the outdoors season. I really wasn't enjoying them at all, and I really did try. I spent a good amount of time tweaking settings and such. So now the grind actually begins to try and find a whole bunch of setups and settings I'm comfortable with, and then hopefully come the outdoor season starting, I can continue to be best of the rest, so around P4, P5, and let the really, really fast boys go and win all the races. But I will see you all on Friday for round 1, Parlour. Hope to see you all there. and thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this, I guess, hotfix or updated Beta 20B patch as well, and enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you're up to. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.